Hello everyone and welcome to Callsign Charlie Models. It is time for another inbox review, and today we have the Meng Models D9R Armored Bulldozer, the 135th Stegosaurus series. This is kit number SS TAC 002. Also says that it has realistic reproduction of large movable dozer blade and ripper. Perfect representation of the cab interior. Door and window can be built in the open or closed position. Comes with a PE fret and clear parts included, and workable track links as well. This is in conjunction with Desert Eagle Publications. On the front box we have a nice picture of the D9R right here, and then on the side we have the color call out using AK Interactive Colors. And then we have our first scheme, which is the Bulldozer of the IDF Combat Engineers School, Balhalat, August of 2008. Apologize if I mispronounced that city. And then on the other side we have a nice history about the D9R Bulldozer and also some kit information right there. And then we have our other scheme, the Bulldozer of the United States Marine Corps, Iraq of 2004. Alright, and then we're going to open up the box and see how it is with the plastic. And it is pretty nicely packed. All the sprues are individually packaged from what I can see so far. And then we have this little intro right here from January through December of 22 for a model contest, which obviously is too late to enter. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the plastic and everything set off to the side, and then we can start going through the instructions, decals, and all the plastic. So give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Alright, so starting off with the instructions, we have a black and white booklet format for our instructions. We have some writing in the front right here that I cannot read right now, and then just a repeat, and we're going off with the history about the D9 Armored Bulldozer right here. Various different languages going on, and then we have some of our recommended tools and all that going on. And then we're starting off with the kit. Now we have three different options right here, A, B, or C. So you're going to want to make sure that you are going to decide which one you're going to do before you start building. And we're just going to go through here. Again, I'm not a armor or automotive expert, so I don't know what all of these parts are for, but I'm just going to show you what all is included. This looks like it's going to be the ripper right here. This might be the ripper assembly part 2, and then we're attaching the ripper right here, and then a second part of attaching the ripper. Also in the instructions it does say what you are working on right here. Alright, so now we're working on the cab and our controls, our gunner seat right here, and then attaching the seats, our cab armor assembly right there, going all on right through there, our walls and everything. This is not the kit with the slat armor as well. There is another kit with all the slat armor if you want to do that one. Moving on with all the exterior cab parts right here, adding in a lot of detail parts to our cab right through here, going on all through there. Then we have our pipelines that we're going to be adding on to everything, and then a gun and a few other stowage baskets right here, and then we are attaching the cabin to our chassis assembly, and then attaching the hose, the pipelines to everything right there. After that we're working on our track wheels right there, our running gear, getting that all assembled right through there, and then we're working on our track assembly, working on some headlights, more external parts, and then attaching all the external parts. Then we're starting to work on our blade system right here. Continue on with our blade system, the hydraulics and everything going on. Some more lights going on right through there, and then our blade assembly going together. Then our push arms, and then we're attaching the blade assembly to the chassis. At the very end, we have our parts call out for all the different sprues here. The parts are numbered. They are kind of hard to read for the numbers, so if you need to see the number, definitely get your magnifiers or your readers out for that, and then continue on with all the other parts through here. Alright, then moving on to our color callouts, we do have three options. The first option is the Bulldozer United States Marine Corps Iraq of 2004, right here all over desert tan. And then we have the Bulldozer of the 603rd Combat Engineer Battalion 2nd Lebanon War of July of 2006, right there. We have the front and back profiles of the IDF one right here, and then we have the Bulldozer of the IDF Combat Engineer School, Balhalat, August of 2008 there. And then on the reverse side, nothing, just a repeat of what we just saw. Alright, so looking at our decals do look very nice. Nice and thin, no issues with anything going on. There's not very many decals to this. We also have all of our numbers individually cut right here, so you can make numbers for any bulldozer you would like. Then we have a small photo etch fret right here. Typical Edward thickness with our photo etch, and I am not seeing any issues. There's some nice detail with this grading right here as well. So I do not see, okay, yeah, we do have the fold lines in the photo etch right here as well to show you where you need to fold everything on that. Alright, so starting off with our clear parts, we have two different versions of the same sprue. We have it with the tinted green armor plated clear parts right here. And then we have another one with our just straight clear parts right there. Both of them, I'm not seeing any issues. There's no cracks or scratches on anything on here. So all looking very nice. Up next we have our track parts right here. We get 6 of these sprues. All the tracks are looking pretty nice. Again, they're all going to be workable. It looks like one of them fell off in the bag right here. Again, very nice. We do have an ejector pin mark right here on the inside. Not sure if that part is going to be covered up because there are locator holes surrounding that ejector pin. So hopefully there's a part that goes over there, like this part right here. Hopefully we'll go over that and cover that up. Up next we have another double sprue. It has all of our, looks like our track wheels right here, some stowage parts, and our guide wheels going on right here. A couple other handles going on. Again, no issues with any of this. We have a fire bottle which is nicely detailed, and then everything else looking very nice. We do have a couple ejector pin marks on the inside of these, but you're not going to be able to see them. So again, very nicely done. We do have a couple of ejector pin nubs on that, but that just breaks off real easy with the thumb. Alright, up next we have our dozer blade and all that. No issues with the blade. Everything's looking very nice. We have some nice bolt detail on these pieces right here. And then we flip it over to the other side. We do have a few ejector pin marks on all of these right there, but that should not be an issue. And then we do also have some ejector pin marks on the reverse side of the blade, but I'm thinking that there's going to be a part that goes over that to cover those up. We do have a couple of ejector pin nubs on the inside of this piece. Again, I'm not sure how much of this is going to be visible when it is all built up. I'm sure they tried to locate the ejector pins in areas that won't be visible when it is all built up. Alright, so up next we have another double sprue right here. Looks like these are our hydraulic arms for our dozer blade right here. Again, looking really nice. No issues with anything on here at all. Okay, we also get included in this bag a nice long rubber hose right here to be able to cut everything for all the rubber hosing that goes on in this kit, and we also get a couple poly caps right here as well. Alright, now we're looking at some looks like chassis parts right here. Again, some nice detail, bolt detail, everything's looking pretty nice on here. Flip it over to the other side. Again, all the ejector pin marks are placed in locations that will not be visible when the model is all built. Alright, up next, another sprue. We have our seat right here, a couple other parts going on, electronics boxes and such. All look very nice, some nice switch detail, button detail on there. Everything's looking very nice, as the rest of the kit. On the back side, let's see, the only thing that I think might be a little bit of an issue is the back side of the seat. We do have an ejector pin mark there, but it is a very light ejector pin mark, so it should be fairly easy to take care of. We again have all the ejector pin nubs on a lot of these pieces. Some of them are easy to break off, some of them look like you'll have to cut them off with your cutters. Alright, so now we have some of the main chassis or body work right here. We have some nice grill work right in here. Some handles and tie down areas. Everything going on. Everything looks very nice, like the rest of the kit. Alright, so up next, some more body work. Again, some nice detail right here on the foot grills right here, and then all of our clear part, our window areas, again nicely molded on those. Flip side, no issues minus the ejector pin marks, but those just break off real easy, as you can see. And that's it for that. Alright, so moving right along, we have our drive gear right here. Again, really nice detail on this these drive gear parts, and then we have what looks to be our pusher arms right here. Again, really nice detail on the parts that have detail, that need to have detail on them. We even have some gearing on these push arms right here, which, as you can see, hopefully on that. So alright, some more detail parts. As you can see, we have some nice molded in detail for the handles, and then also our bolt detail going on right through there. Everything else looking very nice. Now on the reverse side of here, we do have a few ejector pin marks on here. I'm not sure on how visible these areas are going to be from the inside, but again, looking pretty nice. Just a little bit of cleanup to take care of all those. They are fairly shallow as well, so it should not be too much of an issue to take care of those. Next sprue, I have some more grading parts for our gun capsule right here. We have our gun. Again, the connector point is right on the edge of the barrel, so we're going to have to cut that out and then drill that barrel out to get a hollow drilled out barrel on that. But again, like the rest of the parts are looking very nice. Like our light guards, again, very thin tubing on those, and then on the grating we have some nice, all the holes are drilled out for you, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But again, we also do have a couple of small ejector pin marks on those, just like it's no issue, just a little bit of cleanup on those right there. Alright, so now it looks like we have the overhead for our cab right here. Some nice panel details going on, and then we have some nice vent detail going on that piece, and everything else again looking very nice. On the inside, again, we have all the ejector pin right here, and then a couple of ejector pin marks, but really should be fairly easy to clean up on all of that part. On this one, I'm not sure about these holes, if they're supposed to be there, but also they look like they're going to be in an area that's not going to be visible when it's all built. Some more detail parts. This is our ripper right here. Again, pretty nice. The looks like the edge of the ripper right here is going to be nice and sharp, even when it's put together right there. So it looks like it's going to be nice and knife edge on that when it's all glued together. And then we have our hydraulic arms and everything going together right there. Alright, so up next we have some more body parts going on right through here. Again, really nice detail on everything molded up. When you get everything painted and weathered, this is going to look really nice. Alright, up next, more panel work going on. Some more detail. We have our hoses right here. Again, very nice. And no issues with anything that I can see right now. Flip it over to the other side. Again, all pretty nice. We do have a couple of ejector pin marks or nubs, but those should be fairly easy to clean up when you get it cut off the sprue. Alright, now on to our last sprue. Again, looking very nice. We do have our handles right here. They do have a little bit of an odd shape to them. I'm not sure how those are. But everything else with the bolt detail, everything is looking pretty nice. On the reverse side, no issues because you're not going to be able to see any of this anyways. Alright, so that's everything for the Meng D9R Armored Bulldozer. And the kit, typical of Meng, looks really nice. All the detail that's molded into it looks like it's going to be a very nice kit. And with all the lights and also with the armor, the glass where you have the option of having the tinted green or just a clear glass work, that's a nice touch. The rubber hosing, everything looks very nice. So yeah, this kit looks like it's going to be a fun build. This one I will be building with the M1070 truck and trailer. When I do build it, these will both be going together at the same time. So with this kit, looks like it's going to be a fun one. Looks like it's going to go together well. And yeah, that's all I really got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this inbox review, and also if you're on the fence about getting this kit, I hope this helped you make your decision. And that's all I got. So if you haven't yet, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you've built this one before. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. Stay frosty and happy modeling.